They were like, yep, you're right, you can have the A side, we'll just keep this side.
I think that was just about everybody from both sides. If you look, there aren't too many other things going on the map with large forces. I think that was... it may not have been everybody, but it was just about everybody.
Gary Oldman screaming, "Send everyone." That's what you're saying.
Yes.
So we have some small battles going on. I think once they recollect themselves, figure out where they need to go, we're going to see another big battle happening.
There might be
but
more
for
pressure.
substation, we have a little battle happening. We have Bridge Ward is still a little battle in favor of NC, which is Cobalt. Same with Ymir. Biolab, it's still in favor of Cobalt. So we only really had that one battle that was happening at Matheson's Triumph, so I'm wondering what Cobalt's decision is going to be now. Are they going to go try to secure Fair Substation, or...
Well, Cobalt,
it looks like Cobalt is putting some Pale Canyon pressure on as well.
Yes, they've had a small group here, and it looks... I think I just saw a Galaxy fly over the top of my head. I was dealing with other stuff.
They just dropped a squad beacon. I don't see a Galaxy at the moment. And the NC Air is headed over here. What are they doing over here? There's tons of NC Air near ISA Southern Camp. There's a little tiny armor column from Ceres that's peeking over by ISA Southern Camp, but it's getting picked off by this air crew.
So the Freyr substation, which belongs to Ceres, is being mega reinforced by the NCs with gal drops, and they still hold the point. Ceres is responding. It's very back and forth in capture point, and lots of explosives. The infantry needs to get close to the capture point. The problem is there's always a grenade on the capture point. There's not been for the last 10 seconds or 20 seconds not a grenade on the capture point. And it's slow. I gotta see it's flipping. It's not whatever. Just watch. It's so it's just going back and forth. There are so many dead indicators. Res grenades going off all the time. Although I gotta say, Cobalt looks like they've got more forces inside the base that are alive with the Galaxy support, and it doesn't look like there's any reinforcements for the Vanu coming in from the spawn room. It's the res grenades that are keeping the Vanu in this series, but they're being corpse camped now. Although there's so many of them res with the res grenade that actually worked, and they're not grabbing the point because there's not enough of them. Guys,
I'm watching a big
There's a light assault on the alpha point. No one's killing him.
Fair Substation, which just got resecured. Very nice on Cobalt once again.
Pale Canyon is where, of course, all of the NC who were at Matherson's Triumph went to, and the VS have actually gotten behind them back at Matherson's Triumph and gotten a couple points. So I don't think they can do anything at Pale Canyon. Oh, never mind. They still have the point, so they can do plenty. So unfortunately, their little back cap didn't work.
Oh, that's a big.
I think the VS are going to be making a push again for network compound. They have 2 Sunderers placed on the northwest side, and they're holding it for the time being until Cobalt brings in some pressure. Let's see what's going on at Pale and Matherson's Triumph.
There are so many NC here; they are not all rendering for me. And again, they're trying to. The VS are trying to do another push, but I don't know if it's going to make it.
I think Cobalt's realized, we can spread out, we can play the redeployment war. But you know what works? We're just going to put like 2 or 3 platoons on one base and see if you can take it off us.
Well, at this point, they have enough territory. It doesn't matter if they lose something behind them. So.
It looks like they'll get Pale Canyon. 50 seconds to go, and we don't really have any forces for Ceres that are even remotely... Okay, I tell a lie, they are coming in on the southern side, on the hillside, but it doesn't look like... Oh wait, nope. Moore's rendering on my minimap. That's a big push. Right, here's the push. 40 seconds to go. They're jumping over to the southern double building.
Oh, some of them didn't make the building top, but they're coming in through the bottom.
The convenient door down there for the failed ones. And they have themselves a point where they must have ran through the building onto the point, which they've got at least some people on, and they're flicking it. At this time, in 30 seconds, if I was Cobalt, I'd say everyone jump on A. Absolutely everybody jump on A.
It is also under a minute at Bridgeward. The VS have a nice little hold here, and there's a small force of Maxes that's trying to push them off the point. But
that was crazy.
A lot of Air Force down here as well.
That's a ballsy
Cobalt
beaver.
trying to pick off some of those.
They're taking turns to fire rockets through the doorway into the Alpha capture point.
Oh man.
That looks brutal, and the max is... Oh, there's a max inside, and they've been picked off. That was painful because of just very skilled flying. Even though the capture point's inside a building and relatively secure, it's not. Because of that one doorway, and it kind of looks through the whole length of the building, there's nowhere safe to stand. It's not one rocket pod set, there was like 4 of them taking turns firing in rockets.
So the VS's attack at Bridgeward was just repelled, and it looks like the NC are moments away from getting Ymir Southern as well.
Oh yes.
Interesting.
Will this be the first time that they've possibly got their hands on Ymir Southern?
And we have the 2 FREC bases that are contended, as well as the Traverse.
Vanu realise they've got a max in the cap building. 10 seconds to go. Emergency reinforcements for Cobalt coming in from double doors. 6 seconds to go. It looks like they're going to do it. They're just barely... Oh wait, there's a medic on the point. He's fighting. Oh, he's not enough. He simply wasn't enough. He was owned by himself. And Cobalt gets the base.
Wow.
I'm headed to the Traverse right now. Oh, there's a gigantic NC Air Force over, what is this? This is Pale Canyon that they're still fighting over. And at the Traverse, it seems to be mostly an infantry fight. There is one VS Sunder that has been brought up to the point, but I don't see any other vehicles at the moment.
Cobalt's so quick, they're already putting pressure on Bulwark. They have the spawn room completely surrounded, A point capped. Let's go see what's going on at Bridgeward.
Looks like the fight at the Traverse is over.
Bridgeward seems pretty chill. Hell Canyon, though, on the other hand. What are we looking at? A point is getting contended by Cobalt. Not a lot of Cobalt soldiers here yet. They do have a few air support watching the area. Still no hard point spawn points. This is something that we've noticed at this base. They haven't been able to really get a lot of Sunders in. But on the other hand, Ceres already has a Sunder replace and a ton of squad beacons.
Well, currently it's still at the Traverse. A fresh NC force has decided to attack, mainly just using Bulldogs and Reavers at the moment. The fact that the Sunder is still alive for Ceres is keeping them in the fight.
Yeah, and it's right next to the point.
There's a heavy assault above the point, up on the upper edge, and he's just picking them off left, right, and center. Alright, NC 023.
He's been doing good. He's utilizing a lot of the cover too. He's popping down some rockets. He's trying to take out that Sunder. He's gonna run out of ammo though. That's his third rocket. Has one more left, I think.
I'm expecting him to hand pistol soon. He's trying to get rid of the Sunder. He's doing some damage.
Yeah, he can't do any more damage. I think he's out of rockets now, and he's just clearing out soldiers that are dropping down. We have a high altitude gal drop that just dropped for the Cobalt, so that should help him resecure. So Max is dropping down. Max needs to turn around.
He's got
Oh man, that was insane.
35 or 36 minutes to go in Smash for the alert. And
there is a good little point hold going on for Ceres VS at Freyr Substation. They've faced off some maxes and some other things. Minute and a half left to go on this base. See if they can hold it out.
Well,
yeah, I just hopped over there. Cobalt is taking that bottom stairway at the A point, but Ceres is continually dropping off the ledge at the top and coming up behind them and trying to clear them out. But there's just revive grenades coming left and right from Ceres and Cobalt. Ceres still holding the point. Lots of heavy assault rockets going back and forth trying to take out Maxes. They're not... I think they're going to get bombarded here because Cobalt is able to get through the top. Yeah, they were able to get through the top balcony and push in through the bottom at the same time.
They have some Reavers that are just sticking their nose right in the window and just rocket potting straight through the window, which is really tough to deal with.
Dad sandwich action. They were just getting locked into that A point, and I don't know if they have a Sunder. Let me look. I don't see one. Oh, it looks like they're bringing in a Sunder right now. They have 2 Sunders that are coming up around the side at the substation. They have one that's placed already. It looks like Cobalt already is aware of where it's at. They're trying to utilize their lightnings, but their lightnings are going to have to pull back.
Ceres tried to pull an Air Force from Snowshear Tower, but they all immediately got picked off. They're just being camped hardcore by... Cobalt knows where they can spawn vehicles from, aircraft from, and they're just camping it.
The entire south.
564 on one Sunderer. That's insane.
The entire south lane has collapsed at this point. The Bulwark is falling, Eli Tower is falling, Old Shore Checkpoint actually is being resecured, but it was ticking away as well. And there is such an overpop at the Bulwark for NC. It's going to take a lot of people coming back to resecure this point here.
Wow.
Yeah, the NC just have tons of pressure, and we're at what, 33? Yeah, I'm at Freire substation. We're at 33
to the northeast,
minutes.
The northwest, underneath that kind of energy coil tube thing, and they had a Sundra hidden under there, and they're all spawning in. But every single piece of ordnance from Cobalt was spamming it, and it was just the pit of death. It was just lots of Vanu dead symbols, and that was it.
They had another Sunderer that was in that same spot, and there were 6 C4s put down. Like, as soon as that Sunderer went in there, 6 C4s were on it, and it just like exploded. It was magical. A little overkill, but definitely interesting.
Well,
and that Cobalt air support is just running on to the next base. You know, they secured that area. Now they're moving to.
They're at the Traverse, camping the spawn building at Traverse, preventing any form of aggressive movement on the capture point. And even though Vanu Ceres outnumbers them 60 to 40, they can't get out. Maybe they can teleport to the other side.
They're stuck inside, and this is one of those moments where you gotta redeploy, you gotta take your guys from a different direction and try to pressure.
Big approach now on the Traverse, 30 seconds to go, huge infantry running along the bridge on the south. But with 25 seconds to go, I'll be impressed if they get it. I mean, they can try it.
Staying in that spawn point is not going to help them, though. They need to get to that A point.
Well, they
need some galaxies. They need some air.
They're running from the south right now. They took the teleport building.
Okay, let me see. Oh, I see them. They're trying to make their rush, but that's not going to be.
The spawn building.
They have no air support, though.
Well, that's true.
They're just rushing out there with their infantry, which is not going to help them when Cobalt has all of this air helping them out.
You're going to realize what happens, and it's really a question of how quickly Cobalt responds. Because the quicker they respond, the quicker they get the capture point back, and the quicker, the less time they have to then wait.
They have tons of infantry on the A point.
The Bulwark was just defended by Ceres VS with a literal 1 second resecure. They managed to get on the point and finally push them off, but. Again, it's that last second thing, and I'm willing to bet that Cobalt is just going to come right back here and say, "We'll do this again, guys. We'll see if we can get that extra second on you."
Ceres medics working overtime, trying to revive these guys left and right, trying to keep them safe, and there's no cover for them. They're doing their best to stay alive and get these guys up, but it's just not going to be enough for them right now. There were no squad beacons down. And those galaxies, they're just continually bombarding, and the little Reavers that are poking their heads in there, just rough. 20 seconds on Traverse. I think it's going to go into Cobalt's favor, which is going to really suck for Ceres, primarily because this base was the only thing that was linking them to the network compound and to Matheson's Triumph, and they really needed to make a push to one of those in order to keep that, because now they can't even go back and take that without first going to Matheson's Triumph or going to substation.
Yeah, less than 10 seconds on Eli Tower, and I don't see a VS force large enough to take this point back from them right now. This is going to fall.
Oh man, that's
so
rough.
Now they have connection to the amp station as well.
You would have thought the amp station is one of the hardest ones to take. So, you know, not amp station, early amp station of the old system. But they do have a large force at Snowshear in terms of Cobalt, so... Oh, harassers! We have a small harasser force next to Ellie Tower from Vanu. Oh, and even better than that, they got Burster Maxes in the Rumble seat. Because it's probably the only way they would live. I like that.
The VS are actually being proactive at Eli Amp Station. They are trying to set up a Sunderer wall to stop NC Sunderers from shield breaking through and getting onto the point without having to take down the generators. So they've already set up a defense here at their amp station in preparation for the large group of Cobalt that are going to be pressing them very shortly.
Ceres is really, really defending this tower the best they possibly can. They're continually trying to... oh man, their medics are doing... Every time I look at them, they're just like left and right, throwing grenades, reviving, trying to keep people up. And it's just not... It's not enough. Cobalt with the pressure, they gotta have a nickname for that, because that pressure is just insane. As soon as they capture something, they're already on it into the next location. It's just amazing job on their part tonight.
Fair, if you can show the time again.
We have 28 minutes and 45 seconds. Just following Ceres lightning as he hunts down Cobalt Sunder.
That traverse capture point was really, really good for Cobalt.
I was surprised they didn't get the traverse earlier, simply because it's so exposed. It favors their Air Force style that they're currently rolling with.
I'm gonna go over to Bulwark and see what's going on there. It's like a 24v24.
They have not yet managed to get us. The NC have not managed to be a defense of the stairs yet, and the VS have started pushing up through the large stairs into the point. I think actually this is not going to be a last minute resecure from them. Yeah, they've managed to get back on the point here. Maybe they're starting to learn, you know what, we got to leave some people behind and be able to stop them from just getting right back on the point before the base resecures, because that's kind of been what Cobalt has been doing this whole game. And if Ceres can finally get one of these bases to just lock to their side so they can move down a lane, then they can start pushing pressure on somebody. But right now it's 2.5 minutes where they can't do anything on this lane. They just have to sit here and wait it out.
And I think for morale's sake, they need to capture something, you know, have some kind of small victory to kind of get them motivated to make the next move. And when I'm looking at these bases, I'm trying to figure out what the best move for Ceres is going to be to secure them more links, right? Uh-oh, what happened?
Oh man, there's a Max Engineer medic in the middle of the frozen river. Between Frostbite Harbour, Bridge Ward, and Old Shore Checkpoint, and they're just being a nuisance anti-air. The medic's healing the engineer's repairing the Max, and there's Zam on the ground, and they're just being a nuisance, and they just... Oh, it's still alive, and they just blew up a Sunder that was trying to kill them with AV mines, and now they're trying to belly ram them with galaxies, and they even dropped out. Wow, this is an amazing little fight for nothing in the middle of nowhere. And they finally picked off the Vanu Force. And that was hilarious. Right, sorry, you were saying the next big fight is... Was it probably Snowshear, you think? Or Bulwark? Bulwark.
I'm looking at the Bulwark. I'm at the Bulwark right now. I just saw a huge Vanu crew. Did they go to take out the Sunderers? That's a smart move. Where did they go?
There's also a very large NC force at Old Shore Checkpoint, which does not have anybody stopping them right now. They're kind of all out in the open. Which, if there was a Bulldog or a Zephyr that came by here, it would be death to a lot of those NC, but there just isn't any banner air force.
Ceres has pulled fresh Air Force, and they're using the Air Force to pick off all the spawns of Cobalt at the Bulwark. However, with 70 seconds to go on the Bulwark, they are at the double doors with infantry forces peeking themselves in on the on the capture point. Inside, engineer turrets and a couple of infantry. No maxes, it's just all infantry here for the Cobalt forces. I don't think they can hold this. With 60 seconds to go, no max support, and no respawn with heavy anti-enemy air force, I think Cobalt's going to get pushed off. I mean, Ceres should be able to push them off with a concerted push. Con grenade, AV grenade would totally do it. And they're already now into the capture point with some light assault. Still getting picked off, however. It's not over. We've got heavy assault on the point. He's trying to flip it, and he's going to get the capture point. There we go.
These battles in these small rooms crack me up. Just watching what ensues and the chaos and how confused people get because, you know, there's someone behind them or in front of them.
Old Shore checkpoint is about a minute from capping now. There is a little bit of VS that showed up, but not enough to get past the Bulldog and rocket pods that are just utterly destroying them as they try and get out of the spawn room.
Maybe the Bulwark Force will come and assist, but with the amount of time they've got, it needs to be quick.
Yeah, the Ceres were able to take back the Bulwark. That was a very fun fight to watch. Let's check out Ellie, see what's going on over there. Ooh, Ellie has a lot of armor from Cobalt. And a forward air push.
20 seconds to go. Looks like Cobalt's taken Old Shore checkpoint. I don't see any mega reinforcement for Ceres. And they're air bombarding the spawn rooms as well, preventing anything from getting outside.
Yep. And Cobalt already has a huge armor column at Ellie Tower that they're going to be bringing over to Old Shore, no doubt.
Facility is lost.
Yep, there we go. Old Shore secure.
And while that
honestly, I don't know if they're going to be able to
to
make a comeback. We're at 23 minutes, and the territory control is at what percentage?
It's 67%. It's, I mean, it's no. Well, hypothetically speaking, yes. With the time that they have, and if they captured every piece of territory in every single lane, they could totally do it. But that's unlikely, considering how I think Cobalt smelled blood in the water. They're like, oh, yeah, we probably won, but let's really grind their noses in that we're going to make this a dominating victory. Let's get as much territory as we can. And
I think that's what they're trying to defend against. If you're Ceres, the goal here is to stop this becoming a dominating victory.
Yeah, just defend.
You know. Yeah, and there's already a large force of Cobalt NC that is at Frostbite Harbor.
Yep.
And the problem with Frostbite Harbor at this point is there's other defensible areas, but this allows them, if they take this allows them to cut you off from your warp gate, to deal all sorts of back blows to many of the other fights that you haven't had to deal with yet, your other biolab, and maybe even get another way into Eli Amp Station.
And then you have Snow Shear Watchtower that's also being contested. And that battle's not going well for them. It's a little bit longer of a cap timer. There's an even fight, and they're sending a lot of troops from both factions to this location as well.
this hero medic grabbing the capture point at Frostbite Harbor, because the capture point isn't actually in the standard on the upper plateau of this Tetris building. Underneath Big Stairs is actually on the lower floor, so it's easier for Vanu Ceres to get inside. However, when I'm looking at the minimap, there's a very, very large number of NC defending Frostbite Harbor. This might just be turning into a rout now.
I want to say this one thing though. Looking at the straw poll from the beginning of the battle, when we tossed it out to the people to see who they were voting for, we had 1,392 votes for Cobalt and 158 for Ceres. That's a 90%. Dominated.
Ouch.
Ceres was the underdog in this.
Ceres has actually pushed a force to Matherson's Triumph, which there's a couple people here trying to get some points back, but this might be where they're trying to get something. If you could manage to get Matherson's Triumph, there's a lot of places you can push out from there. There's a lot of small cap points, quick caps that you can get to.
But the thing is that by putting those numbers, and they're already outnumbered now at Matheson's Triumph, they're trying to do putting out a lot of fires, a lot of places. Frostbite Harbor, it's still taking down. If anything, it's the NC that's pushing the VS back to the spawn rooms, not the other way from the spawn rooms to the capture point. And again, it's their air force. And we look up, and what do we see? We see Bulldog Galaxies and Reavers with rocket pods, breaker pods, just, pounding the ground.
So what happened? I know Ceres had an air crew in the beginning. We haven't gotten to see a lot of that through the rest of the battle.
The resources may not be there for them.
Yeah,
I mean, if they've been pulling the whole time, they just may not have the resources to pull at this.
I mean, what I saw them pulling a lot of the times was they were countering with lightnings And I don't know if that's
he's
necessarily
got a
the best.
point,
I think sometimes you gotta bring your air.
No, he's got a point,
to counter
because
air.
in the previous games, Ryer, other continents, and we can have a quick peek here. Okay, so it's actually quite balanced. But I was going to say, previously, people, to get resources on the old system, they would change continent to try and get a tick, so they could get some resources. Because right now, if you look at the map, and you bring up air resources, complete control of Freyr and the Ymir Biolab means that the Cobalt can just keep re-pulling their air force, because they have those resources. That luxury isn't available to Ceres. So once
there is 15 seconds left on Frostbite Harbor, and there's trying to get a VS resecure here, but I don't know if there's enough time to get on that point.
9 seconds, they're just going to run for the point, and there's too many engineer turrets and maxes blasting those doors.
Oh, they're so close, they're so close.
Oh, wow, that was... Yep. It's very
Frostbite
close.
Harbor was... Oh, man. But they have such a big force here. If they turn this around, they could hold in this room. These buildings,
already-
I've seen some crazy defense.
The NC have a cap behind them with a large force at Everett Supply Company. They have so many people and
man.
so few fights that they were able to say, you know what, guys, finish off Frostbite. We're moving a group to Everett.
Yeah, and that's going to be rough for Vanu because they're not even going to be able to really hold Frostbite Harbor unless they go resecure that.
Fair, if you could show the time on stream again.
I'm going to go back and check out Ellie.
20 seconds.
I'm going to go check out the Ellie Tower.
So right now, the resources, 25 air resources for Vanu, 95 mechanized, and 80 infantry.
Yeah. At Ellie Tower, they have quite a few Sunderers, anti-air, trying to keep the Reavers at bay the best they possibly can. They're holding that A point, which is really close to the Sunderers. That's kind of a nice thing for them, although the Sunderers are out in the open. Cobalt sending in some troops. They're able to contest the A point. They just cleared out most of the Ceres crew that was here. Oh man.
Everett Supply Company has a squad or two of NC that is defending from about a squad or two of VS. This doesn't seem like a massive resecure yet. This is
No,
just some
it's
people
a
poking
very
at it.
small number of NC. It's like one squad's been sitting here to be a nuisance. And
Ceres losing their Sunderers at Ellie Tower. All their squad beacons down. That's rough. Something I have noticed from Cobalt is when I'm watching them defend a location, they have all the choke points set up. They have guys that are all facing the right directions. They have them all spread out into those choke points. When I'm watching some of the series holds, I don't feel like I'm getting that same coordination. You know what I mean? A lot of times I feel like it just gets a little chaotic.
I wonder if that's practicing, like, you know, your outfit or your platoon is likely to be on the south of Esamir. So I want you to go on Esamir on the live server and just practice on these bases and play here. So it's the same kind of building styles. You know roughly how to defend, but if you also then know the layout of the base with a bit of practice, knowing where you're going to be fighting, I wonder if perhaps Cobalt put more preparation or work into this.
There is a VS force that is trying to hold down Freyr substation. A significant number of NC are pushing in here, and the VS again seem to be lacking maxes to help them hold.
Another fascinating point I think I'm beginning to perhaps, I don't know if it's intentional or not, is that Cobalt is using small squads, like 12 people, to push a point. It's not a major threat, so Cobalt doesn't react to it. It says it's just one squad. So then at a certain point, after 2 minutes or so, what's happening is that Ceres then reacts, and they send 1 or 2 squads to appropriately respond and save it. And that first squad's pushed off. The critical thing, however, is that numerous times I've spotted that Cobalt, the instant they get pushed off the point, already have like 2 or 3 or 4 squads that come in and then instantly take the point back and then counter kill and suppress that saving force from Ceres. So now it's only a 2-minute base capture, and they've shown their hand and they've actually got a full platoon ready to go. I really like that. I wonder if that's intentional, because that way you get around the system of I'm attacking with a whole platoon, therefore I'll send a platoon and a half. you're saying I'm only attacking with a squad, so they only send half a platoon, and then you attack with your full platoon, and you get the base. I think that's really, really smart if that's intentional.
And we're at about 15 minutes left in the match, roughly under 15. I'm thinking back to the Traverse. I think the Traverse was their one major... I mean, it's a hard base to defend, right? Because it is that open bridge, but I think that was really what snowballed them out of here. That and Bridge Ward, losing Traverse and Bridge Ward was really rough on Ceres.
The NC are going to get Everett Supply Company here in less than a minute.
They're trying to warp gate them with Two Stone Beach as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they were able to come in here and just clear out all of Ceres. Now they're just back to their holding them in within the spawn room. That containment with they just have such good coordination with
you know what might happen?
Galaxies
I know
and
this is
the
very
Reavers.
difficult, and it might actually be impossible with the neutral out of play territories. But it's entirely possible that Cobalt is actually saying, you know what, we're not going to win the game in 14 minutes. We want to win the game sooner by hitting the territory cap threshold. Was it like 90% or 94%?
It's I think it's too high. It's 94%.
With the neutral
and
territories,
I don't,
yeah, it can be too high. But that would be, you could do that. You grab enough territory and you just end the alert immediately. That would be pretty humiliating.
As far as this has gotten, I don't think it's possible for it to get there. They're at 69% right now, even with the Everett capping at a moment to raise that. 94 is a lot to ask in 15 minutes.
And they're up to 70% now. Right,
and Everett has fallen.
And the fact is that forced us at Everett because they mega outpop. No reason they can't go to Two Stone now because it's 2 minutes to go. So they could.
And we have 1 minute and 30 left at Pale Canyon as well.
They're right next to the warp gate. They haven't really. Maybe they've been using too many mechanized resources with lightnings and thunders. But I'd like to see some mag riders. They're so close to their warp gate. Oh, big! Okay, so Ceres, if we have a look at Two Stone, has pulled a huge air force.
Ooh.
Lots of scythes, lots of libs. I don't see any gals, but it's enough with what they've got. And they have a big infantry push. They're saying we're not going to get warp gated. Not today. Thank you, Cobalt.
They've pulled everyone off the snowshare lane. They've decided, you know what, snowshare is a long cap. We're going to pull everyone back and go deal with something else.
They're going to lose Pale Canyon if they don't redeploy as well. So it looks like they've just decided, you know what, we can afford to lose other territories. We cannot afford to lose, the last warp gate connection.
It's their last one, and once this gets around, then they're just going to be completely surrounded, cut off of all those resources from the Envari Biolab area as well as the LEAM station, and that's just going to make it super easy for Cobalt to just take the rest of those territories.
It's down to 15 air resources per tick. That's how.
And we're at
much that
11
cutoff
minutes.
is.
11:54. Large battle going on in the ice in between. We have some mag riders. You were looking for your mag riders. Here they are.
Found a mag rider, yep.
They're getting all separated all over the place. They're not really together or coordinating.
Ram the max. He's bailed out, and the light assault trying to get the max. He's been shot down.
They both went down.
Scythe's still there. He maybe respawned, but yeah. Air Force for Ceres is trying to move on Pale. Ooh, I think they've just met the Reavers, however.
Pale Canyon does seem to be the main
save?
thing.
No, alright, so they lost.
They did not.
Oh, and that's gonna.
So the Air Force battle is going on in the skies. I think the Reavers are quite happy. They got something to shoot out of the sky, or at least to attempt, and Ceres is certainly trying to make a fight out of it.
I feel like this battle at Two Stone Reach is just... I'm not very satisfied.
Vanu has
What is
managed
happening?
to come in and take the point at Pale Canyon, but they have not managed to kill the spawn beacons that the NC left from their attack, which basically allows the NC to just come right back onto these buildings and try and get them off.
But yes,
But meanwhile,
50-50
they're
numbers.
losing Two Stone Beach.
There's definitely a significant number of them. The numbers are 50-50. Yeah, 50-50 on the base, 51-49. Actually, there's more NC here than there's VS. If we ever needed proof that the observer cam was immortal, I just flew directly over C4 and it didn't kill me when it blew up.
Cobalt's air slowly moving down towards Two Stone.
Oh, they
Looks
are
like
already
they're meeting
here.
up right over Jaeger's Crossing.
Two Stone is one of those bases where the defenders have to cross a bridge to get to their own cap point, and the air is just making that absolute hell for any of the VS that try. Shotguns and rocket pods and bulldogs, and there's too much to name.
Tell you what, Cobalt is smelling blood. From what was an easily safeable base, and they had this, Cobalt has realized, you know what, we can warp gate them. We can warp gate them. Huge number of reforces, massive repair Sunder convoy train system coming on the capture point. Only 40 seconds to go. Cobalt, I mean, they've been gifted this. Ceres so had this when they had the air push. They just didn't completely clean up. And this is going to hurt them. They're going to get warp gated now. And the air forces here, they'll be on timers, so there's no way that Ceres can repull. They might even be out of resources as well. Wow, this is painful now.
Yeah, it's like rubbing salt in the wound.
The other two bases, Frostbite and Everett Supply, they have forces on, but not overwhelming force. So they are making a contention
and
there.
now you have it, Two Stone Beach. Now...
And
they are down to 10 resources a tick. Yep,
8. Oh, it sounds painful, but we still have 8 minutes to go. Up to 74%.
8 minutes to go, and we have Snow Sheer Watchtower being contested, and Vari Frozen Reservoir, as well as the Bulwark. And they are just cut off of all their resources and links.
And it looks like they're getting Snowshear for free. I wonder if Ceres is just going to say, you know what, we've had it, we're going to log off. You know, I'm a bit too salty today. Well done, Cobalt. Or are they going to fight to the very end?
I'm seeing a lot of GGs in chat from both factions. It looks like they're being very good about it all. It doesn't seem like anybody is too hard feelings, no rude comments. I'm just seeing a lot of GGs in chat.
Yep, Snowshear looks like... Good.
What I'm seeing from Ceres is a really nice contestation at Everett Supply Company, which is what they need to get their link back over there.
Same thing at Frostbite. They managed to have both of those going, and that will at least help them get their connections back, even if they can't necessarily get Two Stone back. It would also be worth sending a group up to Snowshear Watchtower, which actually it looks like they have. You may not be able to cap the base back completely, but you can at least make it cap outside of the time of the alert.
Holding 1 point is not enough for Snowshear. They need to get a second point. This is 644 on the alert and 625 on the base cap for Snowshear. They are beginning to respawning a lot. They outnumber the enemy now. Frozen Reservoir, however, is being completely left alone.
Oh man. I'm looking at Snowshear Watchtower at the moment.
And Frozen Reservoir is a little bit of a concern because that biolab, if they don't bother defending it, caps in 3 minutes. Now it's a biolab, so it's relatively easy to defend. You could send your best maxes there and they aren't going to get anywhere near it.
Some premature celebrations going on at Enviri Frozen Reservoir. 2 minutes jumping party shooting into the ceiling.
Oh, is that in Envari?
Yeah, Enviri Reservoir. They're just,
Meanwhile, there's a hack going on at Frostbite Harbor, and Everett's still going.
Wow, yeah.
And they have managed to get 2 points at Snowshear, so that is taking it away. And it was only a couple seconds, so they only need to hold
Keep
that
going,
for a
Ceres.
little while.
We have faith.
5.5 minutes at Frostbite.
They did not manage to hold the point.
They've got the upper floor, but they're getting slowly overwhelmed now by Cobalt.
And the same thing, they got kicked off of Everett as well, it looks like. They do look like they're trying to defend Invari Frozen, though. 30 seconds left on that.
Really? Oh yeah, wow, that's a big spawning. I mean, there wasn't that many people attacking it. The galaxy that was there has disappeared. Oh yeah, just come in big time and saved it.
What a battle.
I wonder if...
Just Cobalt with the offensive.
How do you kill a galaxy? I don't know, maybe send 10 lashers at it. Just a lasher trail of disco balls.
The Ceres seems to have groups of people in their squads dedicated to lasher fire, and as somebody who plays VS on my main, I feel so bad because they work well. They work really, really well in certain situations. You got them defending a door or whatever, nobody's getting through that door. But I see these poor guys, they get stuck out and they're facing somebody with an anchor, and they're trying to 1v1 them with a lasher, and it's not working out very well.
It's a brave 3 guys dropping into this hornet's nest. That guy's still alive. It's one heavy assault from Cobalt. He's mopping up on the roof of the Alpha Capture Point at Barrier Frozen Reservoir.
Snowshear, unfortunately, looks like they lost all 3 points again, and that will cap in 1 minute and 16.
3 minutes and 35 seconds to go.
Does that not show up in the top center of your screen?
It doesn't. Maybe it's a different HUD layout or something. It's something we'll have to play with for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it looks like Ceres is... Oh no, I thought they were just celebrating, but no, they're just lasher firing the galaxy again.
That lasher
Ceres
fire.
has tried pushing to Two Stone Beach, and although as I fly over there, I just see
coming
a
out of
massive
the
Air
warp
Force.
gate for Ceres, I'm seeing a giant armor column, lightnings, mag riders. What I don't know what their goal is here, but there's a lot of them.
Coming from the warp gate?
Yeah, coming from the warp gate.
Oh,
They're
yes,
up on this
they are.
ridge.
Ceres warp gate. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, the continent is going to lock, so if they want vehicles, I suppose now's the time to use it and just have a little party. Perhaps they're going for Frostbite Harbor as some sort of
That's what I'm
consistency.
thinking.
But it's not enough time with 2 minutes 20 to go on the alert. NC
I like that they're
oh
holding
my God,
strong, though.
The
They're
NC
still
took
trying.
Snowshear. I can't believe we missed that. They must have redeployed too much.
Nice.
And then,
I did actually mention that. I was up there. The VS pulled almost completely out of it at
that
one point.
entire NC force is probably going to Two Stone, I bet. I reckon that...
We were talking about it earlier.
Sorry, that wasn't paying attention. The question is, can the Cobalt Force now save their 2 Stone? Because the alert is 1 minute 57. Oh, and the base flip is 2:33. It doesn't matter.
So there is nothing left on this map that can actually cap in time. Perhaps Invari Frozen if they got back on it. I don't know.
Nah, that's it. So we're looking at our final scores at the moment now.
Fuzzbucket just sent me a message saying that Ceres Air has no resources.
Yeah,
or they
I
had
think
no
we figured.
resources.
They're down to 10 a tick. They've been down to 10 or 15 a tick since they lost their first connection. So.
Yeah, the Freya ramp and the Ymir Biolab, them being under control of Cobalt was probably kind of like a meta strategy decision. You know, we want the resources.
So would we like to call it?
I think
we should wait. I'd like to actually wait to see the alert.
Oh, just
happen.
have the
It's
alert
something
to clear it.
It's something we don't have. We've never had before. Let's use it
Okay.
for what it's meant for.
All right. Well, I guess we can kind of talk about the battle that ensued.
The first big key thing, while we wait for this last 60 seconds, has to be the fact that Cobalt did some interdiction work, screwed with Matherson's Triumph, and got the tech plant for free.
That's huge.
That's the first really big one on Esamir.
Because the biggest thing, and again, it doesn't matter for points anymore, but locking off, being able to lock off an area of the map and say, you know what, it doesn't matter anymore, is so huge. And being able to lock off the tech plant, and it took them about another 30, 45 minutes, but they were eventually able to say the entire center of the map, you aren't getting anywhere near it. And that is so huge because it removes the number of places that you have to assault. Now you only have 2 areas you have to assault. You can divide your forces 2 ways instead of 3. I think that was the first major thing. And weirdly, it is, while it's a weakness for the Southern Warp Gate, Southern Warp Gate will win the race to ISO mining at the beginning every single time. It doesn't matter, even if you use a Reaver, which is the slowest vehicle there, it will win the race to that point.
There we have it.
All right. So Maggie, if you would make the announcement overall call, please.
Oh wow.
Congratulations. It looks like we have a winner. Cobalt, GG. Ceres, was wonderful seeing you guys battle. But we have our winner. Cobalt, congratulations on server name for this ServerSmash. And just wonderful games, guys.
And if you could all call and ask the force leads and the reps to come up to the interview channel for us, please.
I'll call all force leads. Please join us.
Hey guys. Yo.
Hey.
Dots. I'm not
Hello.
able to... Hello. Right. I'm going to be going very, very shortly. I think for the next few days I'm going to tell Pintle to not tell anyone about any sort of drama shits because I don't want fucking drama for this.
Okay, thank you, Fuzz.
All right.
Language.
Okay, hold on. We're going to drag the force commands down here.
And I just want to make a note, as I'm getting some messages from the lovely, wonderful Raider X, your community manager for Planetside 2. Just noting that SOE has decided to name the server Cobalt. So congratulations to you guys. This is not on ServerSmash's accord, but I do want to just make that note so you guys know it is SOE's call on what we name the server, and that is what we decided.
All right, thank you. Do we have all of both sides' force leads and reps here?
Pintle's not here, I'll go drag him.
I'm here.
Is he? Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pintle.
Pintle. Good job, Pintle, by the way. Thank you for leading.
All right, guys. Well, that was quite a fight. It was really amazing to see the coordination and everything that comes from a MergerSmash, and I'm sure the adrenaline flowing at the beginning of the match, knowing that stuff was on stake. Congratulations, Cobalt, and very well fought, Ceres. I'd like to go ahead and ask the Cobalt Force Commander, what was your general idea moving into the match, and how do you felt, at least in the start of the match, how do you feel that went for you guys?
Well, our original plan went pretty badly. We'd originally planned to go for the Octagon, concentrate on the middle, and good job to Ceres there. They punched hard and they kicked us out of the Octagon. They made us fight for Esamir munitions, or whatever those bases are called now. I can't remember the new names, but they punched really hard, and we had to really adapt and focus on the outer lanes instead, and come back to them when we were a bit stronger. They knocked us around a bit at the start, and it really did force us onto Plan B.
And you seem to be able to deal with that with your first plan not working very well. What was your reaction to that? What did you decide instead to do when your first plan fell through?
The first plan, as I said, was to go for the middle. The second plan was to concentrate on taking Ymir and Freya and trying to win a longer game based around our air force. The only air resources coming from Esamir are essentially from Freya and Ymir, and so we thought if we could take them, take the outer lanes. We knew we'd also got ISA. We did get our free cap of ISA, so as soon as we had that, we knew we were in a strong position, still in the middle, but not as strong as we liked. And we knew that if we took Freya and took Ymir, we'd slowly win in a war of attrition. And we just had to keep knocking on their doors, and hopefully one time they would make a mistake, and eventually it happened, and we broke through.
So, Ceres, how did you feel that the opening went? I mean, you just heard that you foiled their plan to take Waterson's Redemption. Was that part of your plan? Were you also trying to push for the middle?
Absolutely. I mean, our last ServerSmash was on the southeast of the map, so I'm quite familiar with Emir and the Octagon as a whole. Absolutely key. It's what we described as a meat grinder. We looked at Emir, Freya, and the Octagon as potential troop sinks, where if a large sustained battle starts happening there, and we're playing a redeploy side, where the last 90 seconds is, they can potentially be these vortices that just absorb stupid numbers of players to make anything. So we'd really made it a priority. We'd actually said we're willing to give them Ymir if we're able to cap the Octagon, take the fight off the Octagon, and if we can cap east of Freya and get the fight off of... We didn't do that, and we did get quite heavily bogged down, and I think Cobalt played redeploy side better than us.
How did not getting the connection to ISA mining operations affect you? Was that something that you were trying to do and it stymied getting to the tech plant, or had you not really intended to get that base off the beginning?
The tech plant's a 7-minute. Honestly, I don't see the significant advantage in holding ISA. I don't value MBTs in competitive play, so it wasn't important to me in that context. It's lattice links were important, but
didn't value main battle
had
times?
a meeting. Yeah, main battle times. I don't value them in competitive play. I don't think they have a major role beyond a lazy way to kill Thunderers. I mean, that's a whole other discussion, but suffice to say, we didn't particularly value going for ISA. We'd drawn up a priority list. Freya and the Octagon were the two absolute... They can't get past Freya and the Octagon. If they get past there, we're in real... I mean, we identified the resource game, as was referred to earlier, Freya being a pretty big chunk of air income, and Ymir as well. But we just we can't hold all three. We're going to be playing redeploy side, we might as well give them... So, kind of bargained around giving Ymir to get Freya, but then didn't quite get through on. And then there was snowballing our superiority, where we had multiple wipes when we didn't have the ink.
What did you feel was the turning point of the match? It seemed like for at least 45 minutes, maybe up to an hour or longer, you might have been back-footed, but you were right there. You still had connections to major bases. You were still, able to push out if you had been able to. What did you feel was the turning point where once something happened, it was all downhill from there?
I'll go first. I think the turning point for me when I was looking at this map on the Cobalt was when we re-secured Octagon. I felt that our position was strong. We'd got a good line across the diagonally across the map, and I thought that as soon as we got the Octagon back, we were in a position where all we had to then do was defend. We could play a lot slower. We weren't relying on them making mistakes anymore. We just had to rely on us not making any, and we could take the fight to them a bit more. Of course, they still fought hard, and it still took us a long time to really, I think, sink it in and think, okay, this is won now. We've done it. But I think until then, I was really worried about what could happen. As soon as the Octagon came back to us, I felt, okay, this is it. It's our game to lose now. We just have to keep on playing as good as we have been doing.
And for me, I'd say exactly that. The Octagon, once that swung, things started to look a bit more normal. And then also Freya, once we got the satellite bases of Freya secured and they couldn't just keep hitting it over and over, then that seemed to calm down that area. And lastly, Bridge Ward. I think that kind of got taken quite easily. I didn't see that, but once we get that, it just opens up too many links to defend. And I mean, you see what happens when you cut into the lattice and you've got two places to defend from one base. It's just not feasible.
I want to ask. It's a constant question in ServerSmash. Air power and how it affects the map, and specifically from Ceres. I noticed you guys would have small groups of air up, and I assume when I wasn't looking they were getting wiped out or you were losing resources. And I know at the end you were very resource starved, but was air a major priority from the beginning, or were you did you not place that much of your force into it?
Since 2012 launch, I've said as an outfit leader, you arrive on Esamir, you cap Ymir bio. If you're on the north or the south warp gate, that is your easiest accessible airing. And Esamir is a continent all about controlling the air income. Freya and Ymir are more important than ISA by a factor of 10 because of the air income. I think it's very easy from a spectator's perspective to underestimate the significance of air and air income. There's a huge snowballing situation where if we don't have that air income and they do, and they wipe our air, we can't come back from that. It's a huge situation of disadvantage. I mean, we're talking about turning points, and yeah, I do feel the Octagon is strategically... But there's a moment when I'm looking at the map and I'm saying they own Freya, they own Ymir, and my air platoon is telling me we don't have resources. And I'm very demoralized at that.
Is there anything else that that you guys can point to that you want to talk about specifically in the strategy of how the game went down, or stuff we haven't mentioned yet?
I think you covered the opening and generally like when it turned. I mean, for Ceres, they put up a really good fight at the start. I think that compared to the last game we were in, where things went right from the start, this time you don't expect every game to be the same, and this time we thought, okay, well, how's this going to go wrong? And it came about 50-50. We got a couple of things that we really wanted, and then we really got punched hard in the octagon. And it took us a while to get back from that. Our air at the start said, it's not going our way. We were actually losing, but the only thing we could say was, okay, well, we'll give you an extra squad maybe, and hope that as things goes on, you're gonna slowly win. And then that at the same time is when we decide, okay, we're gonna go for Ymir and Freya instead, and push this into a war of air attrition. And we really need to win. If our air force is losing the first fight, they're already losing that resource war. So we need to go start fights in Freya and start fights in Ymir to give them resources and keep them in the fight. Because if we can keep reshipping into Reavers faster than they are into Scythes, eventually we're going to win that. And I think that was a big part of it. It doesn't show up on the base cap, it doesn't show up on timers or on the stream, but just that slow attrition of the Ceres Air Force and our ability to keep fighting around Freya, to make sure that our guys keep getting resources from just going and, the Freya and Ymir, all those lanes are air resource lanes, so they just need to hang around in those bits and kill a few more people, and if they're short of resources, they have the opportunity to do that. And I think that was the one major thing, I suppose, which you won't see from the stream, which won us this game, which is our ability to slowly sort of strangle the Ceres Air Force out.
I totally agree with that. I was going to use the phrase "death by 1,000 cuts." It's impossible to draw the tipping point, but the feedback I got from our air group was that it was actually quite competitive in terms of the direct combat, but the longer things went, the further that resource gap widened until we just didn't have a hope of.
There's a real synergy on Esamir between the air and the ground. I mean, you look at it and you think, we just need to lol pod open bases and they've not got a chance, but if you don't have the air resources, if you don't take the right bases, it doesn't work. And I'd agree with Blackjack, before we move on, that the start was really good. I mean, we were dug in at Esamir munitions, so for us, everything went well, but I think everywhere else, everybody was sort of shaky. So, good job on that. I think that surprised people. And
one thing that I would suggest is not in so much as particular plays, but your redeploys were way tighter than ours. From my,
it goes back to the air. I mean, I would send my gals to the next base like minutes ahead, and then we'd just go there instantly into the gal, drop out, and we'd just cover the entire continent in half a second. And even if you're playing redeploy side,
having the ability to do that with the guys.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Talking more about the defensive redeploy side. You played that a lot better than.
Well, again, I mean, you can't always redeploy to defend a base when the population isn't in your favour. Say you've got 55, 45, but for some reason it's not happening. You can't respawn there from the other side of the map. You need to send a gal. So even defensively, the gal's still useful.
The other thing as well is I think that that Ceres, this is the first time they've played a big full continent ServerSmash, and that should be fair. Like we Cobalt of this is their third on Esamir. We've played 3 full continent ServerSmashes in a row on this continent now, and most of the people have been here before, and they've done this kind of thing. And I think the start was a bit shaky, and people were like, oh no, we didn't expect this. We had such an easy start to the last game, and then this time Ceres really just gave us a kicking in the first 5 minutes, and it took people a while to settle. But as the game goes on, I think that experience shows through as people just realise, hang, we've been here before, and we know how to redeploy to these bases. We know what we're doing. We just need to remember that.
So, I guess just moving this along, is there anything you Cobalt guys want to do to your new friends, your new recruits?
Welcome
to Cobalt.
Good to have you with us.
Welcome to Cobalt, and drinks are on you.
And honestly, that was a tougher fight than previously on this map. Sorry, so that's good. I think this is going to be a good merge.
Cool. Right. Well, thank you very much, guys, for talking with us today. Thanks for putting on the show, and well done, Cobalt. That was a masterclass of how to win, I suppose. Me and Maggie are just going to go off and chat about what we felt about today and what's coming up tomorrow. and we'll see. Well, you guys can watch the stream tomorrow and check out what goes on between you and Miller.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Do you have any opinions of what you think's going to happen between you guys, between you two servers? What do you think's going to happen in the Woodman Miller?
Dark Elf Druid.
Oh, sorry, you mean Woodman Miller or?
Yeah, what do you
Ceres
think's going to
Cobalt?
happen in Woodman Miller tomorrow?
It's going to be close. I think Miller has some new commanders and a new force organization. So that isn't exactly great right before a big battle. So that's one thing. Woodman learned a lot of lessons from the last match, and I think Miller may not have. So, but we'll see. And of course, there's the warp gates, which is, what is what it is.
Yep.
I think Woodman's going to take it.
Okay.
No, I won't go that far. I think it's.
I'm not allowed to support Woodman.
But don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be real close. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be 5 to 10% difference max. It's going to be real close.
Okay.
So good luck to everybody tomorrow, because these matches aren't easy. It really drains you.
Right. Well, yeah, I can only imagine more numbers, more lanes, low dense canopy of Hossen. It's just going to be a nightmare. Right. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Fat.
So it's just you and me magging out, and wow, that was interesting. We definitely got
Very
a
much
good
so.
schooling from Cobalt, telling us how to play and move around and redeploy side. As I've got on the stream right now, top Cobalt player was Jalamaz from the Red Black Bling Squad, BLNG. He had 250 kills, 44 deaths, 10 TKs. He was averaging 125 kills an hour. I mean, that's insane.
That's awesome.
And then the top Ceres player, killer, whatever you want to
Do
put
we
it.
know what their like prime weapon was that they were using?
I'm afraid not. It's not that in depth. Maybe we'll try and.
I think
get
that that kind of information will be really useful for us, because if we look at it, we're like, oh, these guys were using a liberator, and that's how they were dominating. It's like you can really see what
that
made a big
number
difference.
of kills, it's got to be a guy in the ground just picking people off. I don't see how someone could get that with air, or maybe with rocket pods, possibly. But the top Ceres player was Miko Lia, pronounced it Mikolia, from Divine Hammer, DHMR. He had 183 kills, 86 deaths, and only 3 TKs. So he was nicer to his team.
Probably not spamming grenades.
Yeah.
I saw some really detrimental grenade shots. I saw some people throw grenades. They thought like the enemy was in the A point or whatever capture point was, and it was just all friendlies. I was like, ah.
Well, tomorrow, okay? So we've had our game today, and Ceres lost to Cobalt. Cobalt had 77% territory at the end, and Ceres was down to 17% territory. Tomorrow, we're going to have Hossen, and we're going to have Miller and Woodman. What are your feelings? What are your thoughts, Maggie? I mean, we've spoke about this a little bit before. I mean, this is totally different beast to Esamir.
Yeah, Hassan. Oh, I'm excited to see how this goes, just because a 336 versus 336, which is your guys' largest battle that you ever had on ServerSmash, is just going to be intense, especially on Hassan. You have all of that fog and the air cover with the trees. I think that this is just going to be intense. All the battles are really catered towards more of an infantry fight, whereas Esamir was a great armor battle, right? And it was also really easy for air to move around. You could see for large distances. Yeah, you could
really
scout.
high range. Yeah.
Hassan is not going to be that same type of fight, so that's what I'm interested to see ensue.
Well, the more tech plants, so we might see more like kind of heavy, high tech, tanks and whatnot. Even though it's claustrophobic, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, tanks have a rough time moving around still on Hassan. You get in these little corridors. There's very specific locations. There's choke points that are very direct. And I mean, as we saw tonight, tanks did not do so well even in that open field. But we'll see. Possibilities.
Indeed.
There's lots of places and hills for them to hide.
Right, I am going to play a little WDUH hype video. We'll come back, we'll say our goodbyes, and then that'll be us for today. So I'll just do that and we'll be right back.
We've waited a long time to be here. Fought in the snowy wastes of Esamir, and on the jagged peaks of Amarish. But this is something entirely different. Hassan. Its very name sounds like something deadly and poisonous, and you would be right to take warning. Death waits around every rock, in every stagnant pond, up every tree. The victor here is determined as much by who uses the environment to their advantage as skill in combat. And even that environment can kill you. Tanks are pressed close together, making them easy targets. Aircraft have to venture below the thick canopy to provide support and risk entanglement, or worse. And there is always another way that you didn't see, for infantry to come at you. Swamps have given us a long list of tough battles throughout history. Burma, Guadalcanal, Vietnam. Well, now it's our turn. Welcome to the jungle.
That was amazing. Radlock, as ever, fantastic voiceover actor. It's amazing whenever he talks. Men and women squeal. Right, so that was our Hossin hype video for tomorrow. Be sure to tune in for certainty. I have the document here that tells us, if you're wondering when the game is, our pre-game document starts 10:30 in the morning PDT, 1:30 in the afternoon EDT, 6:30 BST, it's British summertime for where I am, and 7:30 CEST. So there you go. That's when our pre-game show starts, and the match start is half an hour after that. So be sure to tune in and check out our biggest ever ServerSmash and MergerSmash with Woodman versus Miller. Any final thoughts before we head off?
I am pumped. I cannot wait to see the battle ensue. And good luck to both of the teams. And congratulations once again to Cobalt, the new server name, and GG Ceres. It was a great battle to watch.
Yep. Well, thanks very much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Cheers and bye-bye.